Serious mixtape.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Just need somebody to just ride to.
The Lord is my shepherd.
Good little confession on repeat.
The Lord is my shepherd.
1 a.m. again.
The Lord.
What's up, YouTube? Andre Allen here. Welcome to another vlog here for Andre Allen. And beautiful day here, Houston, Texas. It's about 30 degrees outside, but it's nice and sunny. It's just cold. You know, here in Houston, 30-degree weather, we bring out the coats, we bring out the beanies. So I know in other parts of the country, 30 degrees is probably nothing, but here in Houston, it is. So, yeah, what I want to talk about today, what I studied in my devotional was suffering. You know, how to deal with suffering. You know, how does God wants us to see suffering? So the first thing I learned was that there was no suffering in the world before we rebelled against God, or before the rebellion of God. You know, through Adam and Eve, there was actually no suffering. You know, we didn't experience suffering before all that took place. But also I learned that there will be no more suffering when Jesus returns to establish heaven, a new heaven and a new earth. So we do believe that Jesus is coming back. He will return and he will establish a new heaven and a new earth, and we will not have any suffering during that time. So that means this lifetime that we're going through on earth is not the end, you know. So we look forward to an eternity in the presence of God. So we look forward to that. Also, God has all eternity to make up for any suffering that we're dealing with in this lifetime, in this particular lifetime. But God has all of eternity to make up for that suffering that we're dealing with. What are possible causes of suffering? Now, what can cause suffering? Some possible causes could be that we choose not to love God, or we choose not to follow God. You know, we choose to follow other things or worship other things and other people, and you know, that can cause us some suffering when we choose not to follow the Lord. Okay, when we wander away from God, wander away from his presence, his protection, his guidance, his wisdom, we reject it, you know, we wander away, that could cause us some suffering also. You know, I can look back at some times when I had some tough times and I kind of got away from God, or seeking God, or his presence, got away from, you know, reading his word, and I can kind of see where that kind of correlates or go hand in hand through times when I was going through some tough times. I kind of stepped away from God's principles, or wasn't doing it his way. So that can kind of lead to some suffering also. You know, sins of others, whether it's global or community based, you know, that can, you know, cause us some suffering, you know, the sins of others also. Unforgiveness, that's another thing that could cause some suffering. When we choose not to forgive someone, you know, we say, hey, you know, I can never forgive them for what they did. They may owe me some money, you know, they may have done something to you that you just cannot forgive. I mean, some serious stuff. I mean, they may, you know, kill the loved one. I mean, we talking about some tough things to go through, and we gotta, you know, at some point we gotta let it go. You know, when we forgive others, it does more for us than the person that we're forgiving. So, you know, when we're going through some tough times, or somebody did something that we see that's not forgivable, well, eventually we're going to let it go, you know, because it's hurting us more than it's hurting them to hold on and to, you know, be not forgive someone, you know. So we eventually got to let that stuff go, right? And we got to forgive that person. You know, we ain't got to forget, but we do have to forgive, you know. So that's for your own health and your own sanity, right? How do we respond to suffering? First of all, we respond to suffering by continuing to trust and worship the Lord, and know that, hey, he's got our best, you know, he's got our best interests in hand. And if we just continue to worship him, continue to trust the Lord through the midst of what we're going through, eventually it's going to work out. You know, God's going to get us through. You know, great example like this blood pressure issue, this blood pressure issue I'm going through. I got to continue, and I got to trust God, and I got to do what I can do in the natural, or and I got to trust the Lord and trust God in the spiritual. And if I continue to do that, I know I'm going to see breakthrough in my situation. But yeah, I got to put in the work on my end, on the natural, and the Lord's going to put in the work on his end, in the spiritual, and we're going to make this thing happen. So, you know, those are the things that, you know, that we have to consider in suffering, right? What about when you see others suffer? You know, we gotta show compassion to other people, to our loved ones, when we see that they're going through something. We gotta, you know, show some type of empathy and compassion towards their situation, and kind of help them go through it. Show some understanding. So that's another thing. Help people get through their situation by showing compassion. And that's all I got. That's what I learned today. That's what I studied today. So hopefully this will help you. I want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, help me grow this channel. We're gonna get this channel going. I'm gonna be consistent, and I'm gonna try to do something daily, and give you some nuggets. You know, we're gonna give some exercises and just some lifestyle things to do as we continue to grow. All right, peace and love you guys. Have a great day, and whatever goal you guys set, you know, do one thing to help you get one step closer to your goal. All right, peace, love you.